Brad, what's up, man?
What is up, my man? I'm glad we were able to land this and get on here and talk a little bit. Not only about I'm sure it'll be a lot of me talking, but also kind of chat with you a bit, see how things are going in life, and we kind of have a little down period here with the season of with competing on bodybuilding
Yes.
side of things and stuff. And
Yeah.
Christmas just got over, so it's a good time to catch up and talk about the year ahead. So let's do it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Last time I saw you was up in New York when you were at Natural Bodies event, so it was pretty cool. And I remember you mentioned your plans, which you did exactly what you plan to do, with with personal family aspect and as well as the stage aspect. So it worked out perfect, man. And for you guys, I mean, Brad's plan was to hit the shows, definitely qualify for Olympia, and start a family. So it all worked out perfectly for you, man. But I wanted to bring you on because I want people to know who Brad is, right? Like, what got Brad into actually, bodybuilding, like the hardcore dedication and love that you have for it. And, what's the difficulties that you go through behind the doors, man, that a lot of people don't know, what you guys go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start from scratch, and I guess let's start from
That's it.
the
That's it.
little Brett. So I mean, this all will all tie in together, and show why I've pursued bodybuilding with this much intensity, focus, discipline these last few years, and kind of my come up and like why what the drivers were there, and it all started with just being younger, being involved in sports. But like I said, I told you this before we started, but this is all fresh on my mind because I was just talking about this earlier today. And a lot of it is, a lot of it comes down to the family aspect of my father pushing me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, and that's the thing. When you say that, that can be really good or it can be really bad. You know what I mean?
True.
Those dads that they didn't do something right with their
And
upbringing,
they're
and try
trying to, yeah, like go
and they
very
use their
hard.
son, and it either pushes them out a lot of times or too much pressure, and they kind of ends up having a bad relationship. Mine was the opposite, man. I had an absolutely amazing relationship with my parents, and it was one of those things that like I looked up to my father, and I wanted to do, I wanted to do the things he did because he was a college, athlete. He was a coach, a PE teacher, thing like that. And he had all the knowledge and all the, and he was so willing to give me his everything. He was one of those dads that probably wore the same pair of shoes for 10 years just so I could have a new baseball bat. You know what I mean? Like that,
Yeah.
that was the guy.
That's big. Yeah.
And so I still remember this day, that, like I said, this is extremely fresh in my mind. So I was thinking about it a lot. It's like, he taught me how to like, overcome and be the best I could be by doing the extra work. So just an example here is I still remember, playing baseball growing up, those tournaments where you play 4 or 5 games a day as a
Hmm.
kid, but we would still go out. He'd be like, "Hey, Brett, like 7 in the morning, he'd be like, "Hey, you want to go get some batting practice in?" And I would do it, and then we'd play 4 games throughout the day, and 7 at night, he'd be like, "Hey, you want to go get some batting practice in?" And I would do it. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
like he taught me that extra, like he held me to a regard, he held me to a standard of, and it wasn't like a forced standard. Well, say like, I didn't get all whatever, all team, all
Yeah.
state, whatever. It wasn't ever a punishment or anything. And he was never disappointed ever. But it was we set the standard because we put the work to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just having that experience at a young age and fully buying in and seeing that, the rewards are, you reap the rewards that you put in. You put in the work, you're going to get rewarded for it. So I was able to learn that at a very young age through competitive sports. So baseball, football, basketball, track. I did it all. When college came or high school came to the end, the cool thing with that was, he started coaching me and my friends at the age of 6, and it went all the way to 18. So we
That's
went to the
fucking
state
awesome.
championships when we were seniors in high school, and it was just he was very very involved. And he, like, not only me but all my buddies, like he was like the dad or the guy that we all looked up to, that pushed us to, and that a lot of them use today in their other careers. They
Yeah.
they're very successful businessmen. One of them owns a car lot now and makes millions of dollars. It's just like,
Yeah.
and
That's
he
pretty cool.
still he talks about, we talk about this all the time. It's like he instilled these principles in us, that we refuse to not be the best. We're gonna, whatever it is, it can be applied to anything. Like he helped create that. So
Yeah.
it kind of shows you, where the background comes from of just using sports and competition. This is where I'm going with the
Yes. Yes.
competition
Yes.
aspect of, that defines you, defines you, that you can use as a, as a father, as a husband, as you hold yourself as a standard. And so for my story, I ended up playing college football, but I was very undersized. I was a probably that sounds kind of weird, but I was like 165, 170 pounds graduating from college. So I was like 22,
Wow.
170 pounds. I was a good football player. I was really fast. I was really quick. I was like an all-American kick returner, punt returner, and like a slot receiver at Division 3 school in Iowa. And what came from that is I got done and I was like, I'm not gonna, I'm not big enough to play in the NFL. I don't want to go play arena football and tear my ACL and be out thousands
Yeah.
of dollars. So that's when kind of bodybuilding just kind of inserted his way in without me knowing. I went to school for exercise science, so I did. That was my entrance. Is like I was interested in in anatomy, the muscle makeup, performance. I was looking at, and I didn't know quite what I wanted to do with it, but that's what I got my degree in. So then that's when, I just started lifting on my own. I was like, what? I've always enjoyed training. I learned a bunch about programming and everything while in college, so I'm going to apply it. I'm not going to run around as much. I'm not going to burn all my weight off with football anymore. So I'm just going to start lifting and eating a little bit more and see how this goes.
Hmm.
So that was kind of the start of it. But it wasn't anything, it was probably, 23, I was probably 23, 24, 25. I was just lifting for fun. I was just being that normal gym bro pursuit, trying to hit 500
Yeah.
on bench press,
PRs and stuff like that. Yeah, the usual. Yeah.
benching twice, 2-3 times a week. That was about it. Not doing enough legs, And then come when I was 20, so it was when I was 24 is when my wife Ivana came into my life. So actually, of course, saw her at the gym, and she had just gone pro, so she had just turned pro as a figure competitor.
Oh, and she was a night. Oh, she was a young pro.
Yeah, she was only like 19 when she went pro, super young,
Wow.
19, 20. And just seeing her, and I'm just like, what is that? Like that I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
Like, so, shot my shot, got turned down a few times at the beginning, but eventually, I don't know, somehow I
You grew
swung.
muscle later, and then she's like, "All right, we could talk."
You gotta remember, I'm still, yeah, right. And then I'm still, I'm at this point, I'm 175 pounds,
Yeah.
still haven't put much on. Working at a bar, I was a bartender at the time, like working like 4 nights a week, and just lifting and just trying to figure out my life. Um, luckily was able to somehow secure a couple dates and stuff, and we hit it off. And that's kind of when I was introduced to bodybuilding,
Hmm.
like what all goes into that. Obviously, I knew a little bit about it. I knew Arnold and Ronnie a little bit and things like that, but I didn't know all that got into it. So I got the full experience of traveling to her shows with her. I've said this plenty of times before, but she's actually the one that taught me how to eat. I
Wow.
was still on that, breakfast, lunch, dinner kick where
Uh-huh.
I eat 3 meals a day, severely under eating, always, probably always in a deficit, and I didn't even
Yeah.
know. And so that's why I was never really growing. I always just remained like the same weight because I wasn't, I was poor with nutrition.
Right.
And like she awkwardly, one night where, after hanging out for a few weeks, she's just like finally like, all right, I gotta break this to you. Like, can we eat like more food? Like, I have meals out my cart, and I'm embarrassed to bring them in because you only eat a couple times a day. Like, it's just like she's like, is something wrong with you? I'm like, no, is something wrong with you? You're the one that.
You're the one that wants to eat nonstop.
Yeah. And so like and then I'm like, well, shit, maybe that's what I'm missing. I'm figuring that out. And so that was a huge step. So then like, that's when I kind of really started diving into it, and it all kind of blended together where
Yeah.
I got interested in it because I was going to her shows. She won, I watched her win 6 pro shows, and 5-time Olympia. I was there for those. I was training behind the scenes with John Meadows, when we would go visit him. I was meeting Flex Lewis, all these people.
Yeah.
And while she was, doing her journey, and I was a part of it, I was behind the scenes. But during that time, I was behind the scenes, but I was blowing up.
Right.
Like I was doing my thing, and no one knew who I was. But I was like, I went from being 175 pounds to 215, and with limited body fat. So it's like unknowingly, I was, so from the time I met her, so probably from like 24, 25 to 28. So for like 2-3 years, unknowingly, I was preparing to be a bodybuilder, like to be a good competitive bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So finally we came to the time, like I said, when I was 28, I was like, all right, Ivana, she I think she was done for the season or whatever. I was like, I think, I really want to try this because I have all these guys at the gym. I have people emailing me like, hey, you look amazing. You're at the time, which is
Yeah.
nothing now, but they're like, hey, you look awesome. Can you coach me? And I'm just like, I can't coach you. I don't know. I don't even know how to diet. That was my thing.
Right, right.
I don't even know. I've never even done a diet. I don't know what that is. I've never actually experienced that. So I was like, hey, Ivana, let me just do this one show.
To get some experience and get the feel for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I was like, let me do this one show. It always starts
The
with
one show, just one. It's always just one.
I was convinced too. I was like, I don't want to do many. I just want to do this one show and just feel and experience what a true diet is. So we, did it, did the 3 month prep or whatever. She helped, I kind of, which was fun was this because I did it on myself. I actually didn't have a coach until Matt after I went pro.
Oh, okay.
So what I was doing is like,
wait, so you were doing it all yourself?
Yeah, so I even turned myself pro. Yeah, that was
Wow, that's
obviously with
impressive.
help with Ivana and her brother.
Yeah, yeah, but still, it's impressive. Yeah,
Yeah, so we were all living together. We were living in their basement. So like it was just like I would bounce ideas off of them and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. It created like my knowledge I have today. And then turned me into the coach I am today because I experienced all these things on myself, which I'm glad.
yeah.
So yeah, so did that first show, the first prep, did the show, like, knocked it out of the park. I think I don't know why I did at the time, but I did like true novice, like open. I just like won true, I won like 6 medals, true novice, open. And then they were like, the judges there was actually who I'm a friend with now is Bubby Lupo. He lives down in Louisiana. But anyway, he was judging at the show in Omaha. And like right after the show, he came up to me. He's like, "Man, you got to go to Junior Nationals next weekend." Because it was actually the next weekend, and I was like, "Junior what?" I don't even know what Junior Nationals was. And so like he's like, "It's in Chicago. It's like it's a 5 hour drive from where we were at."
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, let's do it, Ivana." I'm like, Ivana, sorry, it's going to be another show now.
Just one more, just the second one. That's it.
And so went to that. There's 30 something guys, I think 35 guys in it or something. And remember, this is in classic physique.
Yes.
So this is classic physique class B. I was like 187 pounds or something like that. And I ended up getting third. So I got third there at my first national show, 1 week into ever competing. The first top 2 went pro. So I missed my pro card by one spot.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was just like, and then that was kind of when it was like, okay, I could be good at this. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I didn't know what to expect going into that. But then after beating 30 plus guys, in my first week competing, I was like, all right, there's something here, and because like I hadn't even experienced like a true rebound or like a true off season.
Yeah.
So then that's when I really like took, I was like, all right, I want to come back to this next year and, and win this, So that's when I kind of took the year to do a true rebound, grow a little bit. Just another lifestyle year of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And then came back. So that would have been 2000. Okay, my first show was in 2017. My bad. My first show was 2017. Came back in 2018 and then won the junior nationals. Won the overall for classic physique. I was like 194 pounds and won the overall there. So that kind of just gives you like the build up story to that.
That's
then
awesome,
what
dude.
the big next step was like, so literally a month after that. So just went pro. A month after that is when we moved to Denver, So this is kind of what I want to get into with you too, because you wanted to talk about like the things that go behind the scenes, especially bodybuilders and guys, younger competitors that are wanting to compete or people that want to live this lifestyle. This is going to be a good segment for you guys wanting to learn. And then also like learn from my experience and then know that you're probably not the only one with this too. So like, part of the reason we moved out of, we were in Iowa at the time was part of it was because there wasn't much support there. There wasn't a bodybuilding community at the time. Like I said, you had to go to different states to compete and everything. And then, I was starting or not even starting, but I was losing what I thought were friends. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, because of my lifestyle, because I was getting into bodybuilding, I was spending my time, in the gym. I wasn't going out anymore, because previously I was obviously like I wouldn't say life of the party, but I was very social because I was a bartender at a really popular bar. I was in the night scene. I was out all the weekends. And so I was transitioning out of that and then transitioning into something I was actually enjoying and loving. And you go through a time and, even at the time, my parents didn't even really they didn't really support. I would say they always support me, but you could tell they just didn't understand.
Didn't understand what it was. Yeah, like what is that? Yeah.
and so that was, that, and then, the friends that you thought were close were like, they were, some of it was also not only they were seeing me change too, and it was more like some insecurity issues on their side or jealousy, but you're getting a lot of that. So it was like, man, so like there's a lot of life lessons that were happening at that time where it's
Yeah.
like, are these people truly your friends? Is this actually, should I just quit bodybuilding now and just, continue to work, these jobs that I don't really do enjoy on the side, get a career and a desk job somewhere. So that was really something I really had a battle with. And I think a lot of people do, this, like a
Yeah.
lot of people do,
Yes.
but it's just one of those things that, like, we stuck to what we believe. And it's more so like, would I rather be happy with what I'm doing in my life than be miserable, just providing, so it's like,
Yeah.
luckily Ivana, like, she's true biggest supporter, was believed in me, especially with the competing side of things. It's like, hey, let's, like, if we're ever gonna move, let's do it now. Let's go to a bigger community, because she was at her prime too at that time. Like,
Yes.
let's go out to let's she was getting coached by Dylan Armbrust at the time, who lives out in Colorado.
Mhm.
And we are like, let's go check out Denver, let's go check out his gym. And if we're ever going to get away from this negativity that maybe that we're kind of getting now, and then also if we want to take this next level, especially for you at this time, and then me for the future, um, let's go check it out. So we
Right.
we went out to Denver, and man, it was like it was meant to be. We spent like 4 days there. The sunny times in Denver, just beautiful days,
Yeah.
doors open, training with the doors open, and it just felt right, man. So like literally, like, within a month, so went pro. I was the only male pro in the entire state, and then I moved away
Wow.
within a month.
Oh yeah, you definitely felt like an
Yeah, so
outsider,
moved
man.
away with it. So we literally picked an apartment off of Google Maps, man. Like, we were like, okay, this is a good area. Let's
Whatever's
just
the closest to the gym. Yeah.
let's call them, set it up. So man, we just did it. And this is something, we took that risk, drove out there, didn't have a job. I left at that time. I was right before that, I was like part business owner of like um a meal prep company that also was a dine-in restaurant. And I left that, and I was just like, we're gonna take a risk here, but we're gonna figure it out. And so looking back on it, I'll talk more in here a second, but looking back here on it, like, best decision I ever made, and something I try to preach to other people is like,
Yeah.
when you get, take that risk in your life, when it might be, right after high school, it might be in your late 20s, 30s, whatever, it doesn't matter. But there's gonna be situations in your life that you need to take that risk. You're gonna feel hesitant about things. But
Yeah.
this world, what I've learned, especially I'm down in Florida now, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
this country, like, there's just so many opportunities, and like so many more people you can meet. And if you're not in a good situation, you don't need to stay there. Get yourself in something you believe in a better situation. And that's what Denver was and Armbrust was, for us.
I think what also helped you is the part is mentally being able to push yourself away from the environment, because I think a lot of times people keep themselves out of work or environment because they don't want to disappoint or leave like either their friends or whatever that's structured, when we're a lot of times we don't realize that's actually what's holding us back.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, distraction.
yeah, because we're trying to make, like you mentioned yourself, should I stay behind and make my friends happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or should I make myself happy? And if they're not happy about it, they're not really my friends, like not how they
That's
say
it.
they are.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I learned. I was like, I still have really tight, really, really tight friends there, but they're the same ones that they supported this entire time. The
Yes,
ones I
yes.
lost, or the ones I don't communicate with, it was meant to
Mhm.
be. Look at the friend group I've made just with that move. Now,
Correct.
I've met you. We've kicked it. Just
Yeah.
like, I know people all over the world now just from this move, and like have great relationships. So it was like I said, those risks, those opportunities. Don't be scared. I mean, like, I went out there. We all we had was our savings. I started out, so we moved there, Denver. Luckily, Dylan and Andrea is her name, the other gym owner. They're very open. They're like, hey, just anything you need, get set up, whatever you need. So I actually even started, man. I even started working. I worked the front desk there at 5 a.m. From 5 a.m. to like 10 a.m. I worked the
Yeah.
morning shift.
Yeah.
And that was just because I was like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna grind.
Yeah. You got to do it. You
we
have
gotta
to.
make it. So what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do is I'm gonna work this morning shift, and I'm going to get, I'm gonna get personal training clients, people that come in, I'm gonna introduce myself. Hey, I'm new
Yep.
here. I'm Brett, I just, I'm a new pro. I'm coming out here to chase my dream, whatever, and man, like one step in front of the other, it started working. I started getting clients. I stopped working the front desk, so they were like, no, just go train, go make good money training people and stuff,
Yeah.
and you focus on your bodybuilding career, and so that's, and that's what we did, and then it just kept building up. um that's when, then that's when my training just took off too. Think about going to that environment where you see Phil Heath, training down in the
Yeah.
gym with you, like it's like this is what I was missing. This is a real gym, this is a real, support group. Like we had, posing classes on the weekends, seminars, everything. And so that's why, like, when I go to these and people don't like, when we hold seminars or go to those events out in New York
Yeah.
and stuff, people don't go and they're like, oh man, I missed it. It's like, you don't know, you don't realize that
What you
opportunities you
missed.
have.
Yeah. You don't have no idea.
You
Because
know,
you're not gonna like I talk about it too, like when the events when I bring people for like a meet and greet and stuff,
yeah.
it's like you have no idea, like the opportunity you have, let's say at my event, to meet somebody and stand there and talk to them, you can't even get that. You like your other chance would be Olympia or Arnold, but then it's just a picture op.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an
Never get
action.
that one-on-one ever.
No.
It's very, very rare. And so
Yeah.
this, and like that was something, I'm still humbled about, because I came up and that was never even an opportunity. So when I got these opportunities, I was like, I'm gonna start thriving. And so pair that with, moving there, no distractions. I mean, next thing I knew, I was 242 pounds and I was lean at 242 pounds.
Oof.
So for real though, that's when I went to a true off season. So after that, I went pro at 194, did an off season. That's when I hired Matt.
Yes.
Got a true first off season. I got up to like 242 and I was still lean. And we were like, oh shit, we ain't doing classic
There's
anymore.
done. Yeah. No more. Nope.
So literally, so that next spring, well, it was the next summer. So it was within a year, I ended up competing as a 212 open, or 212 bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Um, and what I even noticed with that was, even when I was coming down, like, I was ready at like 225 pounds. And then we had to suck down to 212, in
12.
which I
Yeah.
just ate away muscle. And then, did my first couple of shows. I think my first show, dude, I actually got like last place. I got like 14th place up in like, or it was in Puerto Rico. And then I was just like, I almost wanted to quit after that. I was like,
Right.
screw this, that was a dumb idea, and then anyway, we went to the next week. I went over to Toronto, competed in Toronto, and I got first call out there. I was like, I was fifth or sixth place, and then that was just more reassuring, because it was Tyler Mannion was the judge of this one, and he, like, that's who judges the top guys. So I was
Yes.
like, okay, I got something going on here, but I know I look way better than this. I looked way better than this a month ago. So I think I even, I talked to Matt, and I even wrote Tyler, I believe, in an email, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about going to open. I think that would best fit my physique. I've noticed as I continue to get better, I'm bigger. I just look better, and I know that's rare, but I truly believe in, like, for me, this whole journey, this whole thing hasn't really been about, like, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to hold myself down at a certain weight at classic or 212
Right.
just to try to win a title. This is about creating the best Brett Wilkin that I can in my
Yes.
journey. That's always been like that. That's why I've always trained like a psycho. It's because, like, I learned that in football. Like, I'm trying to maximize my potential.
Yeah.
And so, and like, I'm like, that's how I train. I'm not going to hold my weight back anymore. I know I won't ever be the biggest guy, but I'm going to be somewhere in between weight wise. And that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
And, both those guys supported it. And like, I was like, all right, well, I'll see you in 2 years, so, and so that's when that's kind of when my opening party kind of came out, is, I did something that people aren't willing to do, and this was probably the hardest little part of my bodybuilding journey. And this is something that, again, another teaching point is, I had to go and do a 2-year off season with no end goal in sight. You know what I mean? Like, usually when these guys are training in there every day, and you see the training intensity, you see them pounding the food, it's because they have a show in 12 weeks.
Yes.
So they know they're going to be competing in 18 weeks of this. They're literally counting it down, and that's their motivation. What I was doing was, okay, I know I'm going to compete sometime in a couple years, but I'm going to be competing against Big Ramy,
Yeah.
Hunter Labrada.
Yeah. You got
Derek
to grow.
Walker.
You got to grow.
I
Yeah.
gotta grow, and like, I gotta grow with no end in sight. You know what I mean? and no, just no drive, daily drive that you get from like a prep or anything, you know? So it's
I
like,
know it becomes kind of monotonous,
yeah, but it
but you
also,
still have to do it. It's still a drive,
you
but
have
it's
to
on
do
a
it.
different level.
But then that's when I think it really separates from the people that really are, that are truly willing to go to the top though too. So that's kind of where I learned a lot about myself. It was, waking up in the middle of the night, having a seventh meal, and I'm a year and a half out from my show. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
getting 7,000, 6,000, 7,000 calories in every day, waking up, taking my morning vitamins, throwing them up because I'm still full from the night before, and then going, okay, I'm going to eat 6,000 calories a day on top while training my ass off where my joints are because I'm so heavy and I've never experienced it before.
Yeah.
My blood pressure is probably 180 over
Yep.
120. You know what I mean? Like I got headaches. It's just like, and I mean, we're just being real. That's part of the phases you have to
But
go
it's the
through.
reality. Yeah, it's the reality
Bodybuilding.
of it.
Now I
Yeah.
don't experience things like that, but like I was just, it was really, really tough, a year and a half there. Whereas like I'm just, am I doing that? Am I questioning myself now? Was this a good call? Do I still want this? But I did. I really did. And like I said, this still goes back to the wife back there that she supported that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just killing myself, eating all this stuff, not being super social, not doing all the things she wanted to do because I had this dream that I wanted to be the best open bodybuilder I could be. And like lucky enough, she supported that and more so, I had that daily drive, man. When I walked in that gym, it was on every day. And that was a good time when, Martin Fitzwater was at the gym with me at Denver. And man, we just fucked shit up, bro. We just went in there every day, just we with no goal in sight. We're just like, you know what, we're gonna be big and bad someday, but we gotta make it, we gotta start right here. So
Yeah. But
yeah,
I would say a lot of like the biggest part benefit for you is definitely your other half, your wife.
mhm.
Like her push and her true belief of your potential is created what you're going through now. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of other people, that are in relationships, they may have somebody that's there, but they may not be the person going, "Are you sure it's the right move? Like, do you really think we should do it?" Versus, "Yeah, yeah, you got to do this. Yeah, I'm right behind you."
And one
So
thing I always stress with this, especially with like people are like, how are you, Ivana, so good? And like, it hasn't always been perfect, of course. Like, we had to figure each other out. Like, I had to go through her first preps, didn't know why she was angry, and like
yeah,
you go through those things. But I mean, it's been really good for us. But the thing is, we developed our relationship before. Like, I truly got into bodybuilding. You know what I mean? We fell in love with each other and put our relationship first before competing even was like a true thing for us. And that's what I think a lot of people forget is like the bodybuilding things came after. And I'm so glad it happened that way because now you see all these relationships, especially in the industry, a lot of people
yeah,
jumping around and looking like idiots,
yeah,
and you hear
yeah.
ugly things and stuff. And but no, it was like ours was true, just her and I just being kids, well, considerably, but like it was real. And so we developed that relationship first, and so the bodybuilding was the icing on the cake that we could enjoy that together after we became who we were.
Yeah, bro, definitely, man. That's listen. I don't want to say she made you, but she in essence allowed you to become your full potential, man. And listen, you guys support each other, but
Yeah.
that's the most important part. Like, like you mentioned in relationships, man, and every relationship goes through different changes, right? We all go through different changes every couple years and so forth, and a lot of it depends on the other half, understanding changes and being there supportive. So yeah, that's why you guys are doing so well.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
like
mean?
and also like for her, obviously we built a lot of friends in Denver that we miss dearly now and stuff. But like we had to do, like I said, we were doing it all over, and it was like I took you away from your family and your friend, and she wanted to move too at the time. Don't get me wrong, but it was definitely my idea and stuff. It's like I think we have more out there that we can pursue. Took you away from your family and friends, so you're still trying to build up the friendship, and so it's just like it was a lot. So it's like, and now we did it all over again here in Florida, but it's a little different now, just being a little bit older. We're surrounded by,
Yeah.
a lot of people we know down here. But with the big thing is the next step is the relationship with, our baby to be. So that's
Yes.
it. We
Yes.
were talking about this before, but it's just that brings you even closer together, man. I know you've
Correct.
already experienced it and stuff, but you're experiencing with the current now.
Yes. Yeah.
And
100%.
it's just, it's amazing, man. This we haven't seen them met the baby yet. And it's like,
Listen, bro. When that baby comes, you're gonna melt.
oh
You
yeah,
are
I already know.
truly, truly gonna melt, man.
But already it's giving me so much more motivation. Like I'm just ready to go each day, like what can I do better as a businessman today? It's
Hmm.
like, I'm taking care of stuff on the bodybuilding side, but how can I keep expanding my business that, I've launched,
Yeah.
what can I launch next? How can I make this more effective? So it definitely makes you level up, and I'm excited for more of that in general. But real quick, let's get back to where we were. So we were back to, we were in like 2000,
You're going through your 2 year growth phase.
2020. So COVID, we're
Yes.
COVID year. That's when I was
Oh,
growing,
yes.
man.
Yes.
So yeah, so COVID year was hitting. So that was kind of, I would never say it wasn't good, but the thing is,
But
like,
in the
it was
time,
good
yeah,
timing in that I
for
wasn't
growth
gonna,
time.
then like everybody was kind of in limbo.
Yep.
They were starting preps, ending preps, while meanwhile I was just sitting back, just training and putting on the size I needed to. I think it was actually, yeah, it was 2020. I did come down, so I did diet down that year a little bit for a guest posing
Yeah.
with Hunter at it was at the Colorado Cup, so the show that the gym owner put on, and he wanted me to do it, and I was like, this is actually good because I'm maxed out right now. I'm 265 pounds. I don't want to get I can't put any more weight on right now.
Yeah.
Diet down, and we'll go back up before next year.
Yep.
So that's kind of when I really saw like my true potential. So I dieted down, I don't remember like statistics or whatever, but just I got pretty lean, probably like,
Yeah.
probably like 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out from a show. And then like just standing next to Hunter had just won Tampa. He had just won his first pro show. He was going to Olympia. And then the next week he came out to Denver, and I was the guest poser with him. And like, and then everybody was just shocked, like, holy shit, man, you look fucking good next to him. I mean, like that's he's going to the Olympia, he's the talk of the town, and you just stacked up right next to him. You know what I mean? And so that's when I was kind of like, okay, this is really working. We're on to something here. I just
Yeah.
need one more, good little push of an off season, and the next year, could be good. We'll see what. I believe in myself again. I mean, like
Yeah.
that. This is working. Let's keep
Yeah.
going.
The fire got lit up
Yeah.
big time.
So went into the rest of the off season there. Finished out 2020, came into 21, and then that's when I did my open debut, and that was at it was in Atlanta, but it was the Chicago Pro.
Yes.
And then that's where I got second to Hunter. The Hunter
Yep.
was there too. And I got second to Hunter, and then that's kind of where my career kicked off because people saw the potential there. And then then I obviously did the Arnold this year. Didn't get quite as good as I wanted to. Obviously, got sixth, but that being my second open show, not
Correct.
bad. And then finished out the year. So that was earlier this year. Finished out the year. Here I got second in Romania when it flew over to Romania. So the goal, like you said, mentioned earlier, but the goal was to Romania was a qualifier for this year, and then
Yep.
Spain was for next year. So I was like, let's go knock these out. I want I what the goal was. So we'll talk about this now. Is I wanted to initially do those shows, so I was looking ahead. I was like, okay, I want to do these shows. So Matt was like, let's grow until next year because I still need to put on size to compete with the big guys, especially at
Yeah.
the top.
Yeah.
Let's grow through the rest of 2022 and then 2023 compete, and then we'll just have the added size needed. And I was like, okay, I was all gun-ho for that. We moved down here, so I was like, I took some time off. And I was like, fuck, I really want to do this next step in our life. I want to have a baby. And with that, the goal was, so for the beginning of the 20, so like literally right now, the beginning of 2023, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do those shows that in the year, hopefully qualify for the Olympia, which would have been 2022, which I didn't because I got second in Romania. But then also qualify for next year, so I have the whole year off until the Olympia 2023.
Yep.
The reason I want the whole year off is because in January I want to do the necessary things to make sure my hormones are right.
Yes. Yep.
And get my luteinizing hormone, people call it, but pretty much your sperm count. I want to get my
Yeah.
sperm count up. And so I was either, then we are going to try to get Ivana, we're going to try to have a baby.
Yeah.
Work on getting her pregnant. So I talked with her about it, and we were going to know. Brought it up to Matt, and he was like, "Yep, absolutely." He's like, "I know how it is to be a father, and if that's what you want to do, I support you 100%." And so that's why we decided to do those shows. And so come prep, I think guest posed. So we got guest posed again at that Colorado show, same show with Hunter. It was in like the first weekend in August. And then I remember that weekend, like, I mean, this might be a little too much information, but Ivana had her period that weekend.
Uh-huh.
And then when we went back home, flew back home, and I started prep that week. So I literally started prep that week. And then, then 6 weeks later, Ivana went back to Iowa for a few days and then flew back. And she's like, I got a surprise for you. And there was our anniversary.
So it was like the perfect fucking store, bro.
No, and like I had no idea. Like I had zero idea because I was like, well, I didn't get pregnant. I've been on prep for the last 8 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd already pretty much started before that trip. You know what I mean? Like, with the protocols.
Yeah, I get it.
And so I'm just like, and then like, so I wasn't expecting it all. And then she broke it to me. She's like, yeah, I'm pregnant. We're gonna have a baby in May. And it just like, dude, that was just the most shocked feeling I've ever had in my life. You know what I mean? Because I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way. Like, I'm doing all this so we can do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
So it was just like, it's such a blessing that people don't realize is like, that was not the plan at all. And it's just like, it truly just worked way into our favor because now she was pregnant. Now the baby's going to come earlier next year.
Yes, and you don't have to worry about actually because you never know. Because imagine, listen, bro. I remember when me and my wife were trying to have a kid, and I started the protocol and everything like that, and nothing was landing. So we were getting disappointed, and I remember I spoke to Ben Chow for a little bit. He's like, "Look, do this protocol. You can basically go TRT. If you could have HMG, do it. Like everything would just go through the roof." And I was still skeptical. Me and her were both. We were just like, "Look, it's going to be like almost 11 months. By the end of the year, we'll just go to the doctor." And then next thing you know, she's doing a birthday party for her with her family, and I'm walking in, and it's nope, surprise, I'm pregnant.
For you, huh?
Bro, dude, I was like, I almost fell to the ground, bro.
That's awesome.
Because I couldn't believe it, and like, and
it's
even her,
can't fathom,
yeah, bro, and like even when we went for the first ultrasound, we're sitting there and we're like, this can't be real. Like, did it really happen? So yeah, I get it, man. I get what you were feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that excitement, and it worked out perfect for you, though. It really did.
Yeah, and so like I said, that was that extra motivation, man. Like there was nothing stopping me after that. Like I had 8 more weeks of prep or whatever. I was like, bring it. There's nothing stopping me. Because I already have the biggest blessing coming. Next spring. So let's just go take care of business. So. And that's kind of what we did, I had a great prep, finished up the prep, like, and we kept it secret because I wasn't going to see my family and I wasn't going to obviously break it until
you want to tell them to face to face.
And so I was like, at least one of us has to be present with him, So the plan was for when I flew to Romania, Ivana was actually going to go back home to our family and like stay there. And like, so that was still like 6 weeks away. So Ivana kind of like disappeared for 6 weeks. Like didn't do anything on social media. She wasn't going, or she was going to the gym, but she was going to the gym at like 4 a.m.
Yeah. So nobody sees and everything.
People, so she wouldn't see her and stuff. And like, just kind of keeping it a secret. And so it's kind of fun. I mean, in a way it was like, okay, like, so we were coming closer together because we're going to be parents. And we're also like trying to keep it secret from everybody. The only person that knew was Matt. Cause obviously I told him right away.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
And so he kept it a secret greatly. And like, it was kind of like, it's us versus, let's go win this and qualify for Olympia and have the baby, And so she, she held it in and then she ended up flying back. Like I said, when I was in Romania and then I FaceTime my entire family was there and we FaceTime and I told them literally right before, like the night before the Romania show, I just told them on FaceTime and it was just great, man. Just to finally get that off the chest. And because my plan was what I wanted to do was if I won Romania, I was going to actually announce it on stage, And so when I got second in Romania, like I was devastated because that was like, when you envision something in your head, like so much, it's like, I didn't really care about the win,
You just wanted to make the announcement. Yeah.
I just wanted to make the announcement and share that moment. You know what I mean? So the good thing is like, then I went over to Spain for 2 weeks, and just made sure that I wasn't going to lose that show. Like I said, that was probably the best 2 weeks of training I've had in my life. And that was usually when people chill, in between shows. I was going like a madman, man. I was leaving no stone unturned. I was training just fully, extra work, extra everything. And then came into Spain and we won it. I was able to announce it on that stage there, which was a great feeling. And then just knowing that I was already qualified for 2023 and that I can, I'm not competing this year. I'm not going to do a show because
There's no reason. Yeah,
I want to be present for, this big moment in our lives, especially for her, for who's been such a support. So it was just such a relief to win that show and then qualify. And now I know it's like, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing with bodybuilding. And now enjoy this next phase of our life with the child.
that's fucking awesome, man.
And here we are.
We're right here. And when you said you were in Spain for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, yeah. So that was awesome.
Dude, here's my question. How is that like when you're a pro bodybuilder going to a whole different country, right? That you're not familiar with? Like, how is that? Because I mean, food, prepping, living, all that stuff. Like, were you just by yourself there, or was there somebody else with you?
No, definitely not. So that's one thing. Like I do have to say is like I had, well, for half the trip. So for Romania into like another week, I had my video guy that does my YouTube for me. His name's Zach. He's Drop Set Media on Instagram, but we're really close. He's like a little brother to me. I coach him as a bodybuilder as well. We have a great relationship. He's my training partner half the time down here. So he was a huge help, obviously with all the content, but he was just also, helping with the food, helping with the training. So that was huge because Matt, obviously Matt wasn't there, Ivana
Yeah,
wasn't there. And it was just kind of like, it's one of those things like me and you, it's like me and you versus the world kind of thing. I'm the only American here.
yeah,
Let's go over
yeah.
there, kind of Rocky Balboa shit. Like, let's go over there and fuck shit up. So it was great. We had a absolutely great time. It was my first time in Europe. So for both of us. So definitely, the communication is kind of tough, I mean,
Of
especially
course.
in airports, figuring out where you need to go. And then Romania was a lot harder than Spain because like the food was very difficult because obviously,
Eastern European, yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna, yeah.
I mean, we understand Spanish better than we do Eastern European, so like it was hard to find like the right meats, the right cuts, um, just small little things. So it's kind of, Romania was a little bit tougher, and it was also kind of, the people were ruder there, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, so they just, I mean, I think they probably think of us as Americans as like something anyway. I mean, I don't really blame them. I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. There a lot of countries they look,
Yeah.
yeah, at Americans a little bit differently,
And
and
so,
not in a positive
but
way.
let me tell you this though, when I went to Spain, man, like if you ever get a chance to go to Spain, take it. Like, I was first in Marbella for a week and a half, and then we went over to Alicante, and so we stayed with. He's a gasp athlete.
Yes,
I got set up with him, Branch, and Branch set me up with him. His name's Sam. Great guy. I just stayed at his apartment with him, and so did Zach. And so
perfect.
yeah, and so we were right bound by the gyms. We were literally across the street from Dorian Yates gym, so we were able to go train at his gym every day. The one that
Oh wow.
he's associated with it, that's where he
Yeah,
trains
yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hangs out. So I even met him. I mean, he was up and having coffee one day, and I just walked up to him. I was like, what's up, Dorian? Like, this is kind of you're my last bucket list bodybuilder I've ever
Yeah.
wanted. So, and he was awesome, man. He ended up putting the next day. He's like, hey, come down, like pose for me. I'll look you over and look you at your training and stuff. So that right there is probably worth the trip and the experience in itself.
Pretty cool.
So, but anyway, like I said, but yeah, people were a lot more. It was more like almost felt like you're kind of like a better LA. You know what I mean? Because like it had that beach vibe with
Yeah.
you're on the ocean, but the mountains coming down the ocean, and then just a lot of gyms, a lot of beautiful people. It was it was a blast in Spain. I had a really good
Man.
time. And then with that, I'm actually going to Australia next weekend.
Really?
Yeah, that's the next
Oh,
trip.
you have a seminar thing, right?
So yeah, I'm doing some seminars and appearances out there, and yeah, so like now I get to, I'm just soaking all this in, man. This is stuff, you did the same as I did when coming up, watching, when I first got in bodybuilding, watching
Yeah,
videos of Jay Cutler,
yeah,
watching those guys go
yeah,
travel, and
yeah.
you go to Europe, go to Australia, travel, do expos, and I'm getting paid to do that now. And so like this is the stuff I really, I wanted from when I started loving bodybuilding and studying it and everything, and now I'm living it. But it's like I said, it was 8 years of very, very hard work behind the scenes that people don't, a lot of people don't see, but
Let's
you
see.
understand. And it's
Yeah,
just the consistency, man. Just keep the consistency and keep that long-term dream, even though like I said earlier, you might not know what the short-term goal is, but you know what the long-term goal is,
yes.
and execute on it daily.
Consistency is probably that is the most important thing in anything you ever want to accomplish in your life, because with consistency, you'll get past the times when it's not fun, when it's boring, when nobody's there to support you, when it's just whatever, when it's blah, right?
Mhm.
That consistency has to stay the same. It has to stay the same because that consistency creates discipline, and then so forth. It creates like the fucking wins, the champions at the end, man.
And I mean, I say this all the time. You know, you probably people have heard me say a lot, but this is just the perfect you know, for me, it's the perfect description of bodybuilding. It's bodybuilding is a marathon made up of daily sprints.
Correct.
Every day we go in there and we sprint our fucking asses off, you know. And if that's nutrition, you know, with the 6-7 meals a day,
Yep.
with the training, you know, 2 hours of all you can, where you can barely walk out of the gym,
Yeah.
and you know, and then what do? We come back and do it over again the next
Over
day.
again. Yep.
You don't see it what you want to see for the long term. You know what I mean? That's the marathon.
Yeah.
Then who can do that marathon longer? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
who persists. So that's always how I've looked at it. And it's just, you know, you can't it's a thing, you know, it's going to be a long time, but you can't just, that's where the sprinting comes into effect. You can't just sit back and like, oh, I'll train half-assed today. You know, no, every day, if you want to truly reach that potential, every day is a sprint.
Every day. Are you gonna be you coming to the Arnold or no?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. I just figured that out the other day. I'm doing another seminar there too, the night
Nice.
at American Barbell.
Yes. Yes.
Thursday night. I'll have some graphics out. People can look it up, but it's going to be me and Branch. So me and Branch are doing
Thursday night.
Thursday night. So it'll be like sponsored by Gasp and
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
Bodies. And then I think there's like a deadlift party right after our seminar too. So be a little party out there on Thursday
Cool.
night.
Because I know I'm gonna fly down.
You
My
are
wife's my wife's not gonna be able to come. I'm gonna definitely fly down. So if anything, I'll probably come down Thursday and then swing through to that, and then Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday for the Arnold and stuff. So
Yeah, one of my clients and buddies hit me up. He was like, I have gold VIP tickets and my wife can't go now. And I was like, and he's like, and I have an Airbnb. And I go, say no more. I'll see you there.
yeah, you're golden. You're set, dude.
Yeah,
You're set.
all I need to get is a plane ticket. I'll see you there. And then also, I mean, then Branch called me the next day and he was like, yeah, we want you there. And I was like, okay, this works out perfect. So
You used to train in that gym when you were training with John Meadows for a little bit?
yeah, so that was, I mean, he went to a couple. That was his main one.
Yeah.
And it was now they're at a new location, but it was the older location we would go and train at. But the owner there, he's awesome, and that's a good gym, a good community they bring there. So American Barbell,
Yep.
and that's right off of it's not downtown Columbus, so it's more like a suburb.
Yeah, you got to drive out of the city.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like 25 minutes.
In my personal opinion, it's the best gym in Ohio, really, because
yeah, I mean, I haven't seen enough, you know, but definitely bodybuilding wise, it's been my favorite gym to go to. You forget, dude, they have like that's where like West Side Barbell is. That's where like what's that other brand, like the Straps brand and everything, hardcore powerlifting brand, but they have a gym there too. Like there's some big time powerlifting
really.
there. Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? I haven't noticed it because I don't fucking do a powerlifting. So like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I said that. Yeah, American Barbell is the best bodybuilding brand, but they have some
right.
big time powerlifting gyms there.
Damn, interesting. Damn, bro. So that's fucking awesome, man. I'm super excited for you guys. You know, tell your wife that me and my wife said hi, and we are super happy for you guys. And do you guys know if it's a boy or a girl yet?
We do, yeah. It's a girl. So
Did you get the name picked out yet?
I already got that figured out.
What about the name?
We haven't finalized on that yet. We have a few, and like that's one thing, you know this, man. You can't share too much of that because you can have a name that you both are 100% set on,
And then 2 months later, 2 weeks later, something else changes.
yeah, that, or you say it to like her friend or your mom or your
Yep.
mom's, and they're like, oh, I don't really like that,
Bro, that just happened. Dude, we were just going through that.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. You can't do it, dude. Just
Yeah, man, I'm not doing it anymore. We had a name picked out if it was
like
gonna
fucking piss on your fire, bro.
yeah, we had a name picked out if it was a girl, and it was like unique, and we're saying it to each other, and we're like, we like that, like we're like acting like we're calling the name, right?
Yeah.
And then she tells her mom, we tell her daughter, I tell my daughter, and they're like, we don't like it. And I'm like, motherfucker, we shouldn't have even said anything.
Takes all the wind out of your sails. You're like, what? We're like, this is how I imagine everything. What are you talking about? So no, I think we're pretty set on ours, but we've been kind of keeping it to ourselves.
Good, bro.
We learned that the hard way with like another name that we had. But
Good, bro.
yeah, I mean, besides that, dude, the focus is just, you know, the focus is the Olympia. Like, you know, I mean, I have a goal, you know, a realistic goal of, you know, getting there. It's gonna be it won't be like this year. It's not going to be like 30 something guys. It's
I
going to be,
know, thank
look
God.
at the schedule. It's probably going to be back to where it's like 16 to 18
Yeah.
dudes. And it's going to be it's going to be the dogs, man. So it's going to be all the
Yes.
top guys. And, I just need to make that next step up, man. I need to get up. I would be really happy if we can, battle into the top 10 with that lineup.
Yeah.
That's a goal for me. But I also read this is the first Olympia, so you gotta make a statement, So
Correct.
what I'm working on is just nothing special. It's just more of the same, but it's more of, bringing up a few parts that I think overall I'm very symmetrical,
You are.
proportionate. It's just bringing up everything,
Right.
so, I was 240, 243 on stage at Spain, 242, 243. So, I'm not going to make a mistake of what I kind of did with the Arnold, where I was like, I'm going to put on, I'll be up like 5 to 10, or I'll be 10 pounds heavier this show. That one, we were chasing a weight. But I hadn't put on the tissue yet to be able to be that weight. It wasn't a long enough off season. So this one, I'm really focused on putting on that tissue and having a quality off season.
Yeah.
And we've already started where it's just everything's already structured out to, minimize a lot of, especially for someone like me that has to get up to like 280s, as a lot of inflammation starts happening.
Yes.
So it's like, let's have the most effective off season with our lowest inflammation we can create. And it's easier said than done, of course, but I'm doing already. It's so much better because like my thing is, it's so hard for me in the I love dieting, to be honest with you. I love lowering my food, bringing it down, dieting down, the mental games involved with it. The hard part has always been in the off season is that last little, couple months where you're 270, 280 is like getting the food in, keeping it down, things like that. But like now for once, I actually have an appetite this off season. Like I'm hungry after every meal. And it's
That's
like,
great.
it's because I'm not binge eating, I'm not doing many cheat meals, and I'm just sticking to my base meals, increasing them. So I really think I'll be over 250 here at the Olympia. And I think, I'm not chasing weight, but I'm going to be at same condition I was at Romania and Spain, but I'm going to be over 250. And so that would just be that next step of, I'm going to add 8 pounds of tissue, and how's that going to look against these guys? So it's
going to
just,
be a great look. Great look.
yeah, it's going to be a really good look. It's still going to be some more time before we can stand up to some of the, some of those top guys, just because of size wise, but it's time to start, at least knocking on the door and executing.
For sure, bro. For sure. Well, listen, dude, I'm excited. I'll see you at the Arnold brand for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll message you when I'm down there, and I look forward to seeing you on stage when I'm at the Olympia too, man.
Hell yeah, buddy.
All right, bro. Listen, thank you so much, and say hello to the wife from me and my wife. All right.
Of course, for sure.
All right, brother.